Hello, it's Huto, and today we're delving into the Timeless Child arc and the Ruth Doctor reveal as seen in Series 12. So if you haven't watched Series 12 or finished it yet, get your ass to the sofa, watch it, then come back and watch this awesome theory video. So in the very divisive Series 12 finale, The Timeless Children, we find out that the Doctor is the Timeless Child. Quelle surprise! It turns out that the Timeless Child was found by a founding father figure called Tecteun. We've never heard of her before. And the kid was found on another planet by a portal. Her origin, her dimension from which she came even, is completely unknown. In an accident that happens following this, Tecteun finds out that the child can regenerate endlessly and starts to experiment on said child, as you do. In the end, this gives the Shobogans, or I guess that's the Gallifreyans, their name before they became Gallifreyans, Time Lords. Anyway, the Shobogans get this ability to regenerate, and thereby Tecteun sets up the Time Lords and their society. The child is then forced to work in a department called the Division. Its activities are completely unknown and are left to be explored. The Doctor that we know and the character herself knows has no recollection of these events. #mindfuck. In other setup, during episode 9 of Series 12, Ascension of the Cybermen, in the course of that episode, we keep diverting to a story of a child called Brendan, who is adopted by a couple who find him abandoned on a country lane. Brendan grows up to be a police officer and seemingly in an Irish community. At one point he survives being shot and subsequently falling off a cliff. Completely unexplained. He serves for a long time in the police force in this Irish community, only to be then tortured by his adopting father and the superior officer who originally recruited him, who seemingly haven't aged in decades in some bizarre way. I don't know how that works. I assume this is some sort of matrix perception filter thing used on the Timeless Child, as she works in the Division, just so the child doesn't quite know what hideous deeds it's actually doing. Also, in more arc setup, in episode 5 of Series 12, Fugitive of the Judoon, we find out that there's a secret doctor who's been living in 21st century Gloucester, having used the chameleon arc to turn herself into a human. The character of Ruth reveals herself to be the Time Lord Doctor and has her own TARDIS. What is going on? The audience and the 13th Doctor are left aghast, since we have no idea where on earth she fits into the Doctor's life. Since then, fans have theorised that she's from Season 6B. If you don't know what that is, I recommend you go and check out Mr. TARDIS Reviews video on that entire theory. Or there's the theory that she's the next Doctor, the 14th Doctor, or that she's even pre-Hartnell. The latter is where my own theory stems from. Are you ready? You may not like it, you've been warned. With this all in mind, I believe that the Ruth Doctor, or the Fugitive Doctor, as I like to call her, sounds a bit cooler, is a transitional incarnation between the Timeless Child and the character of the Doctor that we know. So, having served at the Division, Brendan, the Timeless Child, is forced to regenerate and have a complete mind wipe. He then regenerates into the Ruth Doctor. Now, this incarnation, the Ruth Doctor, then finds out what the Time Lords have done to her and made her do, which are possibly dubious actions. She then goes rogue and on the run, naming herself the Doctor, helping people across the universe, across the galaxies, in some sort of redemption arc, to try and make up for her actions under the Division. The Time Lords are hot on her tail, and she eventually decides to use the chameleon arc to turn herself into a human and hide in 21st century Gloucester. This is when we catch up with her in the events that unfold in The Fugitive of the Judoon, episode 5, series 12. This is very much like the 10th Doctor when he used the chameleon arc to turn himself human in the events of Human Nature, the Family Blood two-parter from series 3. Eventually the Time Lords do capture her and sentence her to being chameleon arced into a Time Lord with a complete mind wipe. She then regenerates into the first Doctor, William Hartnell's Doctor, as a boy. He then grows up, becoming friends with the Master, studying at the Academy, and whilst the mind wipe is predominantly successful, the Doctor knows deep in his gut that he should stay well away from Gallifrey. Hence, eventually, he steals a TARDIS and he goes and has adventures across space and time with his granddaughter. Then the character develops as we've seen on screen over the last 56 years, none the wiser of this previous chapter of his/her life. Apart from a few passing recollections here and there, like the Morbius Doctors, and when the 7th Doctor said that he worked on the Hand of Omega. So with this theory, canon would be maintained since the timeless child part of this character's life would be firmly separated from the character of the Doctor. It would just be this secret chapter in this being's life that we'll never talk about once the arc has been all wrapped up. As I said, canon be maintained as the character progression over the last 56 years, the talk of being a Time Lord with 2 hearts and a limited number of generations would all still work. On the negative side, undoubtedly there'll be a number of Doctor Who fans who will be peeved, to say the least, since Ruth would de facto be the first Doctor. However, it could be emphasised that this incarnation laid the path for the character, and they could emphasise how she was a transitional incarnation between the timeless child and the Doctor we know and love. So I can hear you all screaming, what about the TARDIS? What about the Ruth Doctor's TARDIS? It's a police box shape. Yes, I'm perfectly aware of that. Well, you can simply explain this by basically reusing the existing explanation. So when the Ruth Doctor goes rogue, she goes on adventures, she eventually lands in 60s Britain, where the TARDIS morphs into a police box, and then the chameleon circuit fails, or it chooses to stay as a police box. The Ruth Doctor then doesn't want to fix it, or doesn't know how, and it's left to be a police box. Once the Time Lords recapture her, the TARDIS is put into storage, and they execute the sentence, as I explained earlier. Then the First Doctor grows up and re-steals the same TARDIS unknowingly, but has a faint recollection, almost affinity, to this particular TARDIS. Obviously has the help of Clara to get him to the specific one that he should steal. Don't forget. Whilst in storage, the Time Lords do try to fix the chameleon circuit of this TARDIS, but ultimately it fails once again once the First Doctor reaches 1963 London. So what are your thoughts on this theory? Putting the Ruth Doctor as a transitional incarnation between the timeless child and the Doctor serves to answer a lot of the questions we had at the end of Fugitive of the Judoon. It explains why the Time Lords are after her. She did mention that she used to have a job with them when she left.
Who is this gat?
I worked for her once.
You've got a job?
Sort of. Not one you apply for, not one you can ever leave. Believe me, I tried.
Was it the Division? It also explains why she doesn't know what a sonic screwdriver is.
Why don't you try asking that cute little gizmo of yours? Yeah, that's the one.
You don't recognise a sonic screwdriver.
Smart enough not to need one.
Since that doesn't come into play until the Second Doctor era.
Look, I can prove to you that we come from another time. This is a sonic screwdriver. Now, where can I demonstrate? That revolver will do. It's all right.
It also serves to explain why she doesn't know who the 13th Doctor is, and why 13 doesn't know who she is.
No, this doesn't make any sense. Either I should know you or you should know me.
Agreed.
So why don't we?
I don't know.
Personally, I prefer the theory of Season 6B, or that she's the 14th Doctor, because then we get to see more of her. Jo Martin does an exceptional performance as the Doctor. I want to see more. Do you have any theories of your own? Care to share? Put them in the comments below. As always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, click on that bell for notifications. Also, you can follow me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @WhoTimeUK. Cheers guys, and I'll see you in the next video.